God bless you. This is your host of Deborah's Voice. This is Dr. Dwan Jackson, and I'm here today to discuss with you for another week. We're getting ready to talk about some good topics that are going to just really bless your life. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about self-esteem. And I know that this is a topic that's very important to many of you, especially ladies, but there are also some men out there who may have some issues with their self-esteem. So I want to encourage you all today to like this post, to begin to share it with others, because I hope this next 30 minutes is going to bless your life. Deborah's Voice is a show that talks about all different topics from all different backgrounds. We share in ministry. We share topics that deal with our community. We share topics that deal with women and men alike. We share topics on leadership. We just want to be a blessing to people at large. So again, this is your host, Dr. Dwan Jackson, and I'm excited to be able to talk to you about self-esteem. Listen, self-esteem is something that we all need. Many times in life, people begin to look in the mirror, and when they look in the mirror, you have to ask yourself the question, what do you see? You know, many times when we look in the mirror, immediately we begin to see our flaws, whether it's a scar or a scratch or a bump or a pimple. We may begin to see, you know, one eye bigger than the other, or an eyebrow, or our lip, you know, structure, or our bone structure in our face. We begin to see a lot of different things when we look at ourselves in the mirror. But can I tell you that it's very healthy for you to look at yourself in the mirror and begin to compliment yourself. I want you to go into the places where you begin to no longer look at your flaws, but begin to try to look at the places that you are able to compliment, areas in your life that you say, you know what, I want to see the best in me. Many times people excel and advance in life when they understand that they are looking at the best of a thing instead of the worst. And so many times also as people, we are prone to look at the worst. We're prone to look at negative situations. We're prone to look at, you know, things from the wrong perspective. But I want to encourage somebody today that in your self-esteem that you can learn to look at things in a different perspective. I want you to look at yourself. I want you to look in the mirror and begin to ask yourself, you know what? Am I valuable? Because when we think about self-esteem, one of the things in self-esteem is that you understand that you are a valuable person that's been put here in the earth, and you have a purpose and you have a reason. And so self-esteem is, you know, a place for you to see yourself as God created you, right? See yourself as a good person. Begin to ask yourself, what good attributes do I have? You know, what are some of the character traits about me that causes me to be the person that I am? Some of you are great friends. Some of you are, you know, the life of the party. Some of you can go, you know, into a room and you don't meet a stranger. Some of you have, you know, characteristics where you have a great business mind. Some of you are great mothers. Some of you are wonderful wives. Some of you are living an awesome single life, and you're an awesome person, and we can celebrate that about ourselves. So I want you to think about your self-esteem this week and how important it is to look in that mirror and say, what do you see? You got to look in there and say, I see a strong, a healthy person, a person that's going places, a person that's wonderful, a person that's good. Begin to speak positive about yourself and get good energy flowing about yourself. How you think about yourself matters, because the way I think about me is how other people will begin to think about me. So if I portray to people that I'm sad, I'm sorrowful, you know, I don't have, you know, much, or I'm looking bad, or my whole countenance is speaking. So when I go before a person, I have to understand that my countenance will let other people know really who I am. So there's a saying that people say that you're speaking without speaking. So when you enter into a room, you want to make sure that you're speaking with that positive influence that should be on you, that positive energy, that when you come in, you know, everybody should know that I just stepped into the room. Why? Because I'm here. My name is Dwan. I'm wonderful. You should be able to expose that energy to other people. You don't want to come in the room looking down, looking sad, not having your head up, your chin up, smiling at others, giving direct eye contact. Why? Because you're letting them know that you have wonderful self-esteem. Your self-esteem It's so important because it builds your confidence, right? Your self-esteem is really, it's your confidence, right? It's your confidence in your own worth. It's your confidence in your own ability. It's your own self-respect. How many know that a lot of people say, listen, I want respect. Give me my respect. You know, that is something that people tend to say that we hear a lot of times in society. But if you want to have respect, you got to first begin to give self-respect. And so self-respect reflects in how I act, how I respond, what I do, you know, when I'm around other people, what do they see, right? It is really the confidence of who I say I am. So if I'm confident in being who I am, then guess what? If I'm confident in my abilities, then other people will gladly also connect to my confidence. So the way that I bring energy, the way that I operate, the way that I function, the way that I build up my mindsets, my thoughts, my patterns about myself reflects externally. So my self-esteem, it starts internally, but then it reflects externally. So internally, I have to begin again to think good thoughts. Internally, I have to begin to think about, you know what, I'm a good person. Think about, you know, I love helping other people. Think about, I'm a loving person. I'm a great friend. I stand by others. I have a word to say. I have something to say. Confidence, boldness, assurance. I have to look at myself and say, I am somebody. When I understand that a good self-confidence and good self-esteem is in operation, I have the ability to change my life. I have the ability to see out of different eyes. I have the ability to conquer things that I never thought possible. I have the ability to really make new connections. Why? Because I'm confident. My self-esteem is speaking for me. So my self-esteem is my confidence, right? It's the way I operate. So that means I have to be confident about me. And that's why I want to reiterate, make sure that you go and find simple qualities. It may be 2 or 3 simple qualities about yourself that are awesome, that you really love, that you can say, you know what, this is a good trait about me. Find a trait about yourself. If it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3, and celebrate that trait. I mean, really celebrate it, really push it forward, really esteem yourself highly. Why? So that you can say, you know what, I love my smile. You know, people are connected to my smile. There's energy when I smile. People see something about me when I smile. You know, find the attribute that you can work with and then begin to utilize that attribute in society. Utilize that attribute on your job. Utilize that attribute with your family, with your children. Utilize that attribute in every aspect of your life. Why? Because you understand that it takes a person to really have that proper self-esteem, to put themselves in position to be able to function. Listen, people who are mediocre are people who are just average, people who are common, you know, people who, you know, you just would pass by. But a person that has good self-esteem, you can walk into the store, a grocery store, you can walk into a shoe store, you can go into the mall. People will begin to say, hi, how are you? They'll begin to respect you. Oh, how are you today? Hope you're having a good day. People begin to speak to you. Why? Because of your countenance. See, good self-esteem has good countenance. Good self-esteem really pushes you into a space and a place where you're able really to develop a healthy attitude about yourself. A lot of times we have negative energy, negative attitudes. We have all of these things that come to hinder our advancement. Well, we got to get rid of that negative energy, right? You got to start thanking God every day. Be grateful that I'm tall. You know, I'm a little tall for women. A lot of women are 5'5", 5'4", 5'6", and I'm a little bit taller. And then when I put on my heels, I'm normally between about 5'11", and so most people see, you know, this tall woman, but I'm confident in my height. Some people would be saying, you know what, oh my goodness, I'm too tall. And when I put on my heels, then I'm a little, you know, taller than others. But we have to learn how to take on these challenges and really begin to advance them and say, you know what, it's a place that I'm going to become confident in. So I'm going to turn it around. So instead of me looking at myself as being too tall, I'm going to look at it as an advantage to be able to see over others. others. I'm going to look at it as an advantage to be able to go farther than others. Why? Because I'm a little bit taller, or get to the back of other people who are short so that I can look over them. There's always an advantage that we can find when it comes to our self-esteem. So it's how we view a thing, you know, making sure that we have positive energy, making sure that we go forth and let other people know, listen, I love me. I'm happy about me. I've got the right emotional feelings about me. You know, many times what happens, and the reason why our self-esteem is down, because maybe our emotional evaluation of our own self, maybe some of the decisions we've made, maybe some of the things that have happened in our life, things that will come, you know, to hinder us. Maybe some of those areas or issues, you know, may cause us to not have good self-esteem. But even if you've had issues that have taken place in your life, whether it's, you know, you've been molested or raped or hurt or abused or abandoned or whatever that case may be, when we learn how to go back and get healed from those areas and then begin to say, you know what, I'm still going to be the best me, because that situation is not who you are, right? That situation is not who you are. And so because that situation is not who you are, then you realize that, you know what, okay, it's not going to reflect who I am. It's not going to show who I am. You know, what happened to me is not going to reveal who I am. I'm going to shine, right? Your self-esteem should allow you to shine in every overall area, right? So in your areas, in your life, it should allow you to shine. People should be able to be excited. People should be able to be, you know, lifted up to say, you know what, I like this person. Why? Because I'm not going to let that negative thing that happened to me reflect my self-esteem. Why? Because I'm still a wonderful person. I love the Bible, and it says this in Psalms 139:14. Those of you that are Bible readers, and even if you're not, this is a good scripture. It says that I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, that my soul knoweth right well. And I love the A part of this scripture. It says, I will praise thee, for I am what? Fearfully and wonderfully made. Wow. Can you start saying that every day over yourself? I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know what? If you begin to acknowledge that, say affirmations. You know what? I'm loved. I'm wonderful. I'm great. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. There's nobody else that's like me. There's nobody else that has my DNA. There's nobody else that has the same complexion as me. There's nobody else that does their hands like me. There's nobody else that has these legs or has these lips or has these eyes. You've got to be able to be confident about yourself. And in doing that, when you say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, guess what? You understand that, guess what? There's no other person in the earth that's exactly like me. Do you know that even twins, there is still a difference in their DNA? That even though they look alike, there is still a part of them that is different. And so we got to understand that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, that's something that says, you know what, that there's nobody else out here that is made like me. So I have to take care of me, right? I have to celebrate who I am. And so in doing that, I have to recognize, you know what, I like myself. That's what you have to tell yourself every day. I love me. I love myself. I love where I am. I love my life. It's going to get better. See, self-esteem doesn't allow you to look at the negative attributes about yourself, about your character, about your life, about your circumstances. But when you have good self-esteem, you're able to project forward, and you're able to have good energy to recognize where you are and where you're going. You have good energy that transitions you into a greater place to be able to fulfill the things that God wants you to fulfill, right? So it's very important. When I think about having proper self-esteem, I think about really sitting down, maybe writing out some things, understanding that I do have to confront those dark parts. Now, I want to talk about this because if my self-esteem is in proper alignment, remember, I'm celebrating the things that are good. I'm celebrating the things that I like. I'm celebrating all of these great areas. But then on the other side, this is what I want you to do in order for your self-esteem to rise. You've got to confront the dark parts about yourself. All right. Now, this is number one. Listen to me today. Confront the dark spots or areas about yourself that you don't like, all right? So maybe there's an area in your life where you keep attracting the wrong person, whether it's like, why do I keep attracting this type of man, or why do I keep attracting this type of lady, or why is it that my children are responding like this? Why is this happening to me? You know, why do I keep getting the same type of job and it's a dead-end job? You know, what is it about me? Confront those dark areas of yourself to find out, what do I reflect? Remember, a lot of times what I reflect is what I attract, okay? So what I reflect is what I attract. If I reflect positive energy, I'm going to attract positive energy. If I reflect sadness and sorrow and grief and complaining, I'm going to attract other people who are in that same circle. So what I reflect is so important to others. So I have to be able to confront that dark part of myself and say, listen, it's not a bad day. It's not the end. I'm not going to, die right here. I don't look that bad. My weight is not so over, that I can't lose it. Yes, this person may be this size, but guess what? I'm going to celebrate the size that I am right now. Celebrate. You got to learn how to confront the dark parts. If you don't like your weight, guess what? Start walking, start exercising, change your eating pattern, do what you need to do. Confront the dark parts about yourself.